Hello everyone. We are continuing with our series titled Studies in the Book of Proverbs. The last video that we discussed was instruction to children. And in that we discussed 3 points: instructions to young children about how they should relate to parental advice and wisdom. We also discussed instructions to grown-up children or adults on how they should relate to their parents. And we also looked at instructions that were given by a father to a son or his children about how they should relate to people in society. Now, this is part 2 of instructions to children. And in this video, we're going to look at 2 points. Number 1, we're going to talk about instructions to children on constantly pursuing wisdom. That's an important and recurring theme all through the book of Proverbs, especially in the first 7 chapters. What is special about Proverbs chapters 1 through 7 is that it is a series of instructions given by a father to a son. Solomon wants us to know that wisdom is primarily taught at home. And in these 7 chapters, there is constant instructions to children about pursuing wisdom. And we're also going to talk about instructions to children about knowing God and relating to God. So let's begin with section 1, where children are instructed to constantly pursue wisdom. Now, children are told that they are to pursue wisdom deliberately, intensely, and constantly. They are told that they must seek wisdom above everything else. You may seek several things in life, but the most important thing to seek is wisdom. They are to value wisdom above everything else. Children, when they grow up, could value several things, but among all these things, they are to value wisdom above everything else. Let me turn our attention to first book of Proverbs chapter 2 verses 1 through 4 and look at how Solomon is telling the people, or the father is telling the son, as to how they are to use their ear, their heart, their mouth, their eyes, their hands and feet, everything to seek wisdom, to understand wisdom, and so on. Chapter 2, 1 through 4. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding, indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord, and so on. It goes on to explain that. What is being told here? We are told, or the father is telling the son, pursue wisdom with all that you have got. Pursue wisdom with all your being. Let your ears turn to wisdom wherever it is available. Apply your heart to understanding things. Call out for insight. Cry aloud for understanding. That means there needs to be an intense desire to have wisdom, and which is why you are calling out for insight, you are crying aloud for understanding, and you look for wisdom like someone is mining for precious metals in the earth. How would someone look for silver? Or how would someone look for gold? So much of mining, so much of time and effort is being put into mining so that you can get silver and gold and other precious stones and metals from there. So also you are to look for wisdom as you look for silver, and you are to search for wisdom as you are searching for a hidden treasure. In other words, leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of wisdom. Young man, this is what you are to do, is the instruction given by the father to the son. Now, Proverbs chapter 3, 13 to 18 speaks about the value of wisdom. Look at what is being told to us there. Chapter 3, 13 to 18. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver. She, meaning wisdom, she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Let me pause there and let me tell us what the Father is trying to tell the Son. The Father is trying to tell the Son that wisdom is the most valuable commodity that you can possess in your life. It is more profitable than silver. It brings you more dividends than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with wisdom. You may have abundance, you may have plenty of things, but among all of them, wisdom is the greatest thing that you can possess. Why is that so? We are told in verses 16 to 18, long life is in her right hand, wisdom's right hand, and in her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. So why should we consider wisdom to be more valuable than rubies, more valuable than silver, more valuable than gold? It is because if you have wisdom, we are told that you will have long life, you would have riches and honor, your ways would be pleasant ways, your paths would be paths of peace. Wisdom would be a tree of life to everyone who has wisdom, and everyone who holds fast to wisdom would be blessed. These are the reasons why it's more precious than silver and gold and precious stones and all of that, because all these silver and gold and precious stones cannot give you long life. It cannot bring you honor. It cannot make your ways pleasant. It cannot make your paths of peace. It cannot provide life to you. It cannot make you a blessed person. And therefore, the Father is advising the Son, pursue wisdom. Another passage, chapter 3, verses 21 to 24. And in this, the Father is saying, keep wisdom front and center of your life. Always keep it in front of you. Chapter 3, 21 to 24. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. He's saying, don't let wisdom and understanding disappear from before you. In other words, keep wisdom and understanding always before you. Don't turn your back on wisdom and understanding. Let wisdom and understanding always lead you. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. In other words, you have to keep it safe. You could lose it. Don't lose it. And why should you do that? Because they will be life to you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet, and so on. So if you have wisdom, you have rest, you have peace, you have joy, you have life, you have God's favor on you, and so on. So several blessings that are mentioned there. One more passage to prove this point, and then we move on to the next section. This is chapter 4, verses 5 through 9. Again, these are words spoken by a father to a son, and the father is telling the son, get wisdom at any cost. No matter how hard you have to work for it and get wisdom. Look at what he says in verses 5 to 9. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. The father is not telling the son, get riches, get an abundance of everything, and you would do well in life. He's saying, get wisdom, get understanding. Verse 6, do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Now listen to this. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. So what is the beginning of wisdom? Another passage in the book of Proverbs tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and that's true. And here we are told that the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. In other words, a desire to have wisdom. the initiative to acquire wisdom. Though it cost all you have, get understanding. Even if you have to give up everything else in order to acquire wisdom, do acquire it, is what the Father is telling the Son. Cherish her, cherish wisdom, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you a garland to grace your head and present you with a glorious crown. Why should you pursue wisdom? Why should you so deliberately pursue understanding? Why should you give up everything else in order to get wisdom? Because she will exalt you, she will honor you, she will grace your head and present you with a glorious crown. Now, with that, I stop with this section in which I was talking about instructions to children. The Father is advising the Son to pursue wisdom with all that he has got. Seek wisdom above everything else. Value wisdom above everything else. I now come to section 2 of this video, where we are told about the instructions that a father gives to a child about God. Now, it is the responsibility of parents to teach children about God. When they are young, they need to be taught about the ways of God, about the nature of God. And this is what we see in chapter 2, verses 5 through 8. The Father is telling the Son, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. It is important that every child understands the fear of the Lord, and every child finds the knowledge of God. And so the parent is telling the child that if you pursue wisdom, you will find the fear of the Lord and the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Young child, if you are looking for knowledge, if you're looking for understanding, if you're looking for wisdom, all of these come from God. Verse 7, he holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. In other words, if you want success in life, young child, the Father is saying to the young child, God is the source of success. He gives success to the upright, and he is also a protector for the one whose walk is blameless. For he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. In other words, the Father is turning the face of the child towards God. And he's saying, look to God, the fear of the Lord, the wisdom of God, the success that comes from God, the protection that comes from God. Look to God. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. The Father is advising the Son, and he says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. What is the Father teaching the Son? The Father is teaching the Son to trust in the Lord. Why? Because God is the one who should guide our paths. He is our provider, and so on. The Father says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And we are not to lean on our own understanding. Verse 6, in all your ways, not just in some of our ways, in all our ways, submit to him. The Father is telling the Son, and he will make your paths straight. Look at how the Father is teaching the Son about the things of God. Same chapter, chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. What is the Father telling the Son? He's telling the Son, son, you will grow up, and then you will be a farmer. You will grow crops. You will have barns and vats. But when you have all these things, know to honor the Lord with your wealth. With the first fruits, the tithe of all that you get, bring it into the presence of the Lord. And if you do that, God would honor those who honor him by blessing your barns such that they would be filled to overflowing, and your vats would be full of the new wine. And so again, the Father is teaching the Son to honor God. Chapter 3, verses 11 and 12, and we will close with this. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. In other words, son, when you would grow up, there may be times when God would discipline you. And when you see God disciplining you, don't develop a grudge or a hatred or a bitterness towards God and turn away from him. Instead, consider the Lord's discipline as an act of love, because the Lord is disciplining you because he loves you. Just like any father who loves his child would discipline his child, God is our heavenly Father who disciplines us when need be. So look at all the effort that the Father is taking in teaching the Son about God. So instructions to children, we looked at two sections today. Number one, children are instructed to constantly pursue wisdom, deliberately seek wisdom, value wisdom above everything else. If you have to lose everything else in order to gain wisdom, so be it, but get wisdom. And then we also looked at another section in which children are instructed about God. They are told, understand the fear of the Lord, find the knowledge of God, receive the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from God, be protected under God's wings, trust in the Lord, submit to the Lord, honor the Lord, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and so many such instructions about how a person is to relate to God. Look at the kinds of instructions that a father is giving his son. Instructions to children. I believe that these have been a help to you. If you are a young person listening to these videos, I believe that this has inspired you to pursue wisdom, to pursue the fear of the Lord, and to pursue the study of Scripture, and also to trust in the Lord and to honor the Lord. If you are a parent and you're listening to this video, I pray that this would inspire you to teach your children like the father in the book of Proverbs in chapters 1 to 7 is teaching his children the things of God and the things of wisdom. God bless you.